Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is Tuesday night. Do not adjust your computer monitors. We are the League of Opinionated Gentlemen, and as you can tell probably by the title, we're going to be talking about, well, the thing that everybody's been talking about for the last damn week, Avengers Infinity War. Ah, what a great movie. Joining me, of course, as always, is the man who runs the place, James Phoenix.
Hello.
And his friend.
That's right, I am the AJ Styles of the league. You heard it here.
He is the AJ Styles of the league. And joining us, of course, is league member Melissa over there.
Hello, internets.
Thanks for joining us.
Of course, they're not here that commonly.
Yeah, well, her other half could not join us. He is thoroughly exhausted.
Quite.
So this first part will be non-spoiler. So
correct.
If anyone out there is going to join our chat, please don't spoil stuff until we get to the spoiler section. Thank you.
We will inform everybody when we are switching to the spoiler section. So until that time, please, we're just going to not be spoilers right now.
Indeed. First, I'm going to rattle off a quick number. Over $630 million in 3 days.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a thing. Worldwide. And that's without the China market, because it hadn't released in China by that point.
Yeah.
So...
Also, Jeff, no. Worldwide?
No. It's World Slide.
Well, it's that now, but that's a whole other story.
But yes, you are correct. So yeah, it's broken all the box office records. It is now the highest grossing, I believe, both domestically and worldwide in history for opening weekend.
Something like that.
So yes, it is smashing all kinds of things. Not the least of which is our hearts. So
maybe yours.
Maybe. But we're going to quickly go through the non-spoiler here. Basically, it is a really good movie. The effects are great. The musical cues are excellent. But it is not what you expect. If you haven't seen the movie, go see it in the theaters. You need to see it in the theater for the full experience. And it will wreck you. It will emotionally wreck you.
No, it won't.
Unless you're Jim, who doesn't have a heart.
I have a heart, but well, I'll clarify in the spoiler section. I'm not going to get into it here. Continue.
Fair. It emotionally wrecked a lot of people. Me to a degree.
It wrecked and confused me.
Exactly.
Okay, there you go.
How about Cam? Did it wreck and confuse him?
I don't know if it wrecked him per se. I mean, well, maybe sort of, but he did like it.
That's good. Just to give you a little taste without really spoiling anything, and you guys can give your take from the East Coast over there. But at my theater, basically, they cheered at the right moments, they laughed at the right moments, they gasped at the right moments, all the, correct moments, they had the correct emotions.
Yeah.
Then at the end of the movie, as the credits were rolling, it was just stunned silence. There was no cheers, no nothing. Nobody got up and left. Everyone just sat there like, what the fuck just happened?
Yeah, that's pretty much what happened at our theater. No one applauded.
Because everyone was trying to process what they just saw. Hence why immediately after I got out, I texted Jim with, what the actual fuck did I just watch?
It's true, he did.
But he was asleep, so he didn't get it.
No, I got it.
I assumed you were asleep until you texted me back.
No, I got it.
Oh, okay.
I just, you sent that, but did not provide any context, so I didn't know what the hell you were talking about to respond to it.
No, I assumed you remembered I was going to see Infinity War that night.
I did not.
Oh. So, yeah, that's what you guys can expect. I've seen reactions on YouTube and stuff, like immediate reactions, and it's pretty much the same worldwide of just shock, awe, sadness, emotional wreckage, crying, all of the above. Like without fail, everywhere in the world, it's basically been the same. So it's like, wow, like this is like a once in a lifetime movie.
Yep.
So, however, this movie is kind of divisive a little bit. I think the overwhelming majority love the movie, but there are some that just abject hated the movie to the point that they've now sworn off Marvel.
Oh my.
Yeah.
I haven't sworn off Marvel. I mean, there's going to be more. So well, first of all, you want to know what is really happening. Like, is this it? There has to be a twist somewhere.
Well, obviously they're coming back, but we'll get into that. But no, there was a reaction I saw was on a live stream, and one of the people was a group I watch called the Renegades. They're awesome, and they're a lot of times funny, very informative. But one of them literally outright said, "I'm fucking done." And someone asked in the chat, "Come on, are you really done with Marvel?" And he typed in there in caps across 3 sentences, "I am fucking done." So dude was pissed.
Well, you know what? People get pissed at things. It happens. Eric Rodriguez, better known as the Blockbuster Buster, swore off the DCEU after watching Batman vs Superman. Yeah,
He still watched Justice League, though. You know he did.
I don't know. I haven't checked his channel to see if he reviewed it, but he said he was not going to see Suicide Squad. He was not going to see Justice League.
That's too bad because they were both infinitely better than Batman v Superman. But that's another universe.
Quite.
But yes, that's my non-spoiler take on the movie. That a lot of what you people thought was going to happen did, but a lot of it, no. Oh, we were all so wrong. Oh my God, the balls on Feige and Marvel. Good Lord. But did you guys have anything you wanted to add to the non-spoiler section here?
Well, I guess I'll chime in. It definitely started off on an interesting take, in my opinion. Yes. And I was like, okay, yeah, this looks like it's going to be like a really interesting movie because I didn't know exactly what was going to happen. I saw an article that, well, it didn't really spoil what was going to happen, but I was like, I didn't read the article before I saw the movie, so I was just like, okay, I'm going to ignore that. And then by the end of the movie, I was like, oh my God. Even though I'm kind of happy I didn't read the article beforehand. I was happy that I was like there watching it in the moment. But but I pretty much had the same reaction you did, like what just happened, really? So, but yeah, but I mean I did like it. I am looking forward to the next movie to see the aftermath of what happened.
I'm looking forward to Ant-Man and the Wasp and Captain Marvel because that's going to be the aftermath. That's going to be, okay, how is that going to tie into what we just saw?
What do you mean?
Well, we can get into it in the spoilers because I can't really talk about it without saying how the movie ended.
Okay.
But because Ant-Man and the Wasp takes place between Civil War and Infinity War.
Correct.
So it's going to end with...
It might. We don't know. All we know is that Ant-Man's under house arrest by the end of the movie.
And Captain Marvel, we know, has to end with a time skip to current day because it takes place in the 90s.
It does.
And that time skip, the only scene there is going to be, well, the post-credits scene of Infinity War. It's going to tie into that. It has to. But we'll get into that. So that's why I'm looking forward to seeing that. And I want to see Captain Marvel because I want to see how they're going to explain her abilities since they can't use her actual backstory considering they didn't own the rights to it until now.
No, actually they did.
They did?
Yeah.
I thought this was in production before they bought out Fox.
They didn't need Fox.
Yeah, they did. Carol Danvers' entire backstory is tied directly to the X-Men. Although not the X-Men cinematic universe, I suppose, because they completely changed Rogue, but yeah.
No, Carol Danvers' backstory is that she is a woman who was endowed with Kree DNA and therefore became a powerful superpowered warrior. That is her backstory.
Because her original backstory is she got her powers absorbed by Rogue, then became binary, and then became Captain Marvel.
Well, the original story, even back when she was Ms. Marvel, was she had powers because she ended up being had her DNA mixed with Kree DNA and therefore became a Kree warrior.
Which is fine, but she
Her
didn't
me-
get her
her
cosmic powers.
Her mentor, the original Captain Marvel, aka the
Marvel.
marvelous Marvel, was a Kree warrior, and he taught her how to use the powers because they were part of being a Kree. And then eventually she took over for him when he died.
I wonder if he's going to show up in her movie.
Yes, he is, and he's being played by Jude Law.
Really?
Yes. That is a thing. The premise is she's going to get powers. He's going to teach her how to use the powers. They are presumably going to have the relationship that they're known to have, and he's presumably going to be dead by the end of the movie.
That
Spoilers.
is fair. That is fair. That is awesome.
The question is whether the cause of his death will be the same as in the comics.
Well, that is the question, isn't it?
I'm assuming you're aware of the cause of his death.
No, I'm not.
Cancer.
Yeah.
It was a very big deal when Marvel died because he got cancer, and it was one of those things that even superheroes are susceptible to the vagacies. Unless you're Superman, are susceptible to the vagaries of real life. So it was a really big deal that they actually killed him off with a normal thing that kills people. So
Superman is if you put a piece of kryptonite in his face.
Well, yeah, but that's a whole different story.
Yes, but so what you're saying is Albus Dumbledore is Captain Marvel.
Yeah, that's accurate.
Okay, then.
Yeah, so stay tuned for that.
The greatest wizard ever, now crossed with the most powerful hero in the Marvel Universe.
Yes. Plus, because it's a prequel, Coulson's in the movie.
Woo!
Stay tuned for Coulson. And young Nick Fury, but that's a whole other story.
Oh, boy. Yeah. But, yeah, so I'm looking forward to that and like how that's going to tie in and stuff.
Indeed.
But,
yes, anyway, so spoiler free.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like it is a good movie. I feel like it's one of those movies that is a little better off if you've seen the other Marvel movies and kind of know what's going on. I think it helps.
Yes, absolutely.
You can go into this blind, but there are going to be something there. Basically, everybody's going to act like they already know, for the most part, know each other, and characterizations are going to be there that you might not totally be prepared for if you have not seen the other movies.
I will say too, if you haven't seen the other movies, it won't have as much of an emotional impact on you probably because you won't know these characters, you won't have lived with them, and you won't have grown to care about them and love them.
Right, exactly.
Aside from you won't know what the fuck is going on.
Yeah, well, I mean, you can kind of put it together pretty easily, but still.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's an excellent movie, and I do recommend that if you're a Marvel fan, definitely go check it out. I wouldn't say it's the best Marvel movie to date, but it's good.
Yeah, I agree with that. Definitely.
Yes. So, shall we move into the spoilers territory?
Yes, we can. I will also say if you have kids or like young teens that are heavily invested in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, like it's their exposure to, as a lot of them are, I don't know if I would bring them there because it will wreck them. It will 100% wreck them.
There were kids at our showing.
Oh, yeah, I know there are, but that's probably a lot of parents. No one knew what the movie was going to be like.
Right.
And now I'm just giving the forewarning. If that's all they know is the MCU and they love these characters, they will be a blubbering mess by the end of the movie if they go see it now because they won't understand half of it.
Good point.
That's fair enough.
Just a fair warning. But yes, let's go ahead and go into spoiler territory if no one else has anything generic left to say.
I think I pretty much covered it. I mean, I will say the special effects are really good throughout the movie. I feel like they did a good job balancing the exposure of all the heroes, even though Thanos did seem to get more time than all the heroes. He was more the main character than they were.
Which I thought was a brilliant choice.
It was an interesting choice. So, yeah, like I said, the fight choreography was good. The special effects were good. I mean, it's a great looking movie. It's a great acting movie. I
thought it was an incredibly balanced movie too, between humor and drama. I mean, this movie got dark. Like,
yeah, that's
really
one thing.
fast.
Is yes, they had humor and they had drama. They put enough humor in to balance the drama, but the problem is they totally whiplash between the two.
That's true. But this
They
is
were-
supposed to be a war on multiple fronts, and that's what it felt like. It felt like
yeah,
they were fighting a losing war, and that's the feeling I think they wanted you to have.
Mm.
And I could understand that the tonal whiplash. Some people have complained about that, about the quick cutting and stuff. But I think it was intentional, and I don't think it was because they were lazy or because it was bad editing. I think it was intentional editing.
fair enough.
Whether it's good or not, that's up to you to decide. Of course, I mean, some people are going to like it, some people are going to hate it. But I think it was done intentionally, not just because they're shit. Because it's Marvel, they're not shit. Come on.
That's fair.
Oh, what do you think, Melissa? What do you think about the tonal whiplash?
That's just what I have to say. Oh my god.
Fair enough. All right. Well,
they gave you physical whiplash, huh?
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
Well, and if I may be so bold.
Yes. Yes, absolutely.
Spoiler alert.
Yes, now we're going to go into details and spoilers. You have been warned. You do not wish to partake in the spoiler section of this. If you're watching this after the fact, do stop the video, go watch the movie, then come back and watch the rest of us.
Beware all ye who enter here, for spoilers lie within.
And I will say, please don't watch this if you haven't seen the movie. And for those who have, please don't spoil it for anyone else, because Thanos does indeed demand your silence.
Yes, that is a hashtag. It will give you a cool Thanos emoji. So keep an eye on that. All right, I'm going to turn this off now. Okay, there we go. So we are now in the spoiler territory. Final warning. We're about to go into this. Don't get pissed at us.
We're just.
That is correct.
All right.
So how about that one Hulk scene?
Which one?
The only one. As you can tell, I'm not happy about that.
Yeah, well.
That pissed me off royally.
You and a lot of other people.
Yeah, that was strange.
It was a good scene. It gave Loki one of the best lines in the movie. We have a Hulk.
One of his only lines of the movie.
See, that's not the scene how I wanted it if they were going to do that.
Okay.
I knew at some point in time they had to do a big callback to that line. It's one of the biggest lines in the MCU, but that was not how I would have set it up.
Okay.
I would have set it up like that. First of all, if you're going to do a proper callback to it, I would have had it be Tony. Have it be Tony. Number one. Number two. What you do is you have this whole big setup, and you have Thanos being all, arrogant, taunting people, and maybe he's got a couple Infinity Stones already, whatever. And he's all like, he's standing toe-to-toe with Iron Man, like, I am here to balance the universe. What makes you think you can stop me? And Tony starts being a smartass and pissing him off as they have a banter back and forth. And it gets pissed off, and it gets pissed off. Thanos just keeps getting more and more pissed off, and so he's bantering with him. And Thanos finally screams, "You truly believe you can stop me? I have infinite galactic power. I have an infinity gauntlet. I have an army." Cut inside the helmet. Tony just smirks, and Thanos gets punched in the face by the Hulk. That's how that should have happened. Just like he didn't even have to say the line. Just yeah, you walk into that one. Bam, Hulk. But anyway, it did work the way they did it. I did like it.
I think it works better the way they did it, given what they did with the Hulk. That completely pissed me off, and as I guess you pointed out, a lot of other people.
Yeah.
Because Hulk comes in and basically gets bitched out to Thanos.
Yep.
Which I'm okay with. What I wasn't okay with was the entire movie, Hulk acting like a fucking baby and not coming out. I'm like, come on, dude. Because in my opinion, I understand, especially after I talked to Jim, I understand that, Banner was like, yeah, Hulk kind of has basically the mindset of a 5-year-old. So, okay, he got beat down. Now he's scared. I understand that. But at the same time, I'm looking at it from the standpoint, too, of he's a fucking rage monster. You would think getting beat down like a little bitch would anger him more than anything else, and thus he'd get even stronger.
I don't know, because remember, as I've pointed out before, and I believe it was you that I pointed this out to, remember, what's the entire MCU? Hulk never loses a fight. He might get shot out of a helicarrier. He might get launched into space. He might get removed from a fight. He never loses a fight. And the fact of the matter is that he just got that badly beat down that fast. If I was the Hulk and had that mentality of a 5-year-old, I wouldn't want to get beat up again either.
That's true.
It's just how it is.
I still didn't like it. I wanted Hulk to come out at the end.
Hulk will come out in the second movie. There's no way he's not.
He will. Also, go ahead. Go ahead, Melissa.
I was going to say, I was waiting and waiting.
Yeah.
Waiting for the Hulk to come out. And nope.
No!
I do have big crybaby asshole. I'll do it myself.
Pretty much. I do have to get Mark Ruffalo credit for accurately portraying a whining 5-year-old.
Yeah.
Because as we all know, he is, in fact, the voice and body of the Hulk.
He's the body of the Hulk. I don't think he's the voice.
I think he's the voice.
I do not believe he's the voice.
Really? I thought he was the voice.
I do not believe he's the voice.
As you now look it up.
Of course, he is a librarian.
I do not believe he is the voice for one specific reason. Hang on.
Okay.
I believe even to this day there is a consistency that goes on in terms of dealing with the Hulk.
Okay.
If I can locate it. The cast list. Here we go. Okay, yeah, Bruce Banner or Hulk, but do they have... I want to see the full cast. I'm pretty sure. Let's see.
You don't think it's Fred, do you?
Who?
Fred Tatasciore, the guy who actually voiced the Hulk in the cartoon?
No, I don't think it's Fred Tatasciore. Let me see.
Yeah, because he was the Hulk in, like, the cartoons and shit.
Right. I
like
know.
the Avengers cartoon and stuff.
Yeah, it's a Friday and Clay and Sherry and Thanos, Rocket, Pop, Rocket, Lucky Boy, and Warren, okay, maybe it is him. Fair enough. That's interesting.
Oh, you know why you thought it was?
Why?
Because up until his death, Lou Ferrigno was the voice of the Hulk.
Wait, Lou Ferrigno died?
Or he quit. I don't know. That's what it said, that he quit or something. Because I put in voice of Hulk.
And I don't think he died.
That's what because I know at the very least up to the Edward Norton. No, he's alive. Up to the Edward Norton movie, he did the voice of the Hulk screams for all the Hulk stuff, and that's who I thought it was.
No, it is.
No, it's up until Thor Ragnarok, and then on Thor Ragnarok, that's when Ruffalo took over.
Yeah, it is Mark Ruffalo.
Yep. Okay. Yeah, I see. It's up to Thor Ragnarok on that one. Fair enough.
Yeah.
You were proven wrong.
Yeah, because they said every version of MCU Hulk has been voiced by Lou Ferrigno, except for Ragnarok. People noticed a difference in the voice, and it's because it's Mark.
Yeah, fair enough. More power to the guy.
So I guess he's still alive. Sorry, I don't know. It's made, the way this was written, it made it seem like he had died. I was like, wait, what?
No, he didn't die. He just stopped doing it.
They didn't ask him back.
Which makes an interesting point because it makes you wonder if Ruffalo is becoming more of the Hulk voice and they're going in this kind of a direction where Ruffalo is exercising a little more control in regards to the Hulk. When we get to the other side of things, will we eventually see the merger of the two and get the Gray Hulk?
You can still do the merger of the two and not have the Gray Hulk because Banner's intellect was in Green Hulk for a while.
A little while. It wasn't a regular thing. Anyway.
You want the leader, huh? That'd be interesting. But that would only work if they actually did a Hulk movie.
That's not the leader is a different character.
Yeah.
Anyway.
But yeah, I still love that scene for what it was because it was appropriate, I think, for Loki to have it because it shows that he truly has become a hero at this point where he's just like, we have a Hulk.
A lot of good it did him.
Yeah, well, they underestimated Thanos. Although you would think they would have known better considering Thanos had Thor by the face.
Yeah. That does lead to a question. Is Loki dead?
Depends on how far back in the past they're going. People are theorizing, yes, he and one other person who Thanos just outright kills is probably going to be perma-dead.
I was gonna say that was my guess too. Just by the way, I mean, not to jump ahead, but just how the way the movie ended, I'm like, okay, maybe like Loki and the other person are really.
You could say it. We're in the spoiler section.
Yeah, but we're getting to that.
We didn't get there yet.
Does it matter? We don't go in any kind of order. We just talk about the fucking movie.
The other reason why people surmise that he is perma-dead is because Tom Hiddleston has said this is his last movie.
Fair enough.
Whether that's true or a swerve, or in the business we call it a work,
Yep.
we don't know. But that is what he has said, and that has led people to surmise, oh shit, homeboy is dead.
Mm.
And yes, the other person is Gamora.
I do have to say that the way that scene played out was great. It was heart-wrenching, but it was great.
Which scene?
Loki's death.
Mm.
He just like strangled him to death. I'm like, you just strangled a god to death. What the fuck, dude?
Puny god.
Pretty much. And I love that Marvel's just making no bones about it now. That Loki's just like, I'm the god of mischief. Fuck off, Thanos.
Mm.
But yeah, so we go from that to another death that gutted a lot of people. Idris Elba as Heimdall, who I was not expecting him to come back, but he came back for a death scene.
Yep.
And it was a hell of a death scene too. He activates the Bifrost Bridge and sends Banner back to Earth, and then dies.
Yep.
And that, just the fact that Thanos, I guess it picks up where Ragnarok left off. I didn't actually watch Ragnarok.
No, Ragnarok leans off with this. Thor Ragnarok ends with a scene of Thor and the Asgardians are on his ship after Asgard has been destroyed and they're in space. Heimdall's there. And Loki, and they're floating through space, and they are approached by a much, much larger ship, which we see, of course, this movie is Thanos' ship.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the last scene of the movie, and then in the
So yeah, this basically starts where that left off, because it starts with Thanos having killed everyone on the ship. And he's just standing on the ship.
Yeah.
Like, where is the Tesseract?
Yeah, because that was the post-credit scene was they run into Thanos' ship.
Yeah, so it does pick up where it left off, which was great. And just, I know that scene, like, gutted a lot of people in this. Like, he just killed all of Asgard. Like, Thor's literally the last Asgardian in existence at this moment. But yeah, that scene was great. And then of course we cut to Oath.
See, don't you can't say it that way.
Okay.
You can't put it that way because, as Melissa can attest, given what we've been doing out at their house the last few weeks, you phrase it that way, and now I'm just picturing Thor in an Avatar ripoff.
Which Avatar?
Last Airbender.
The good one.
Okay then.
Yeah.
Because Jim has never seen it, so he's now in book 2.
Oh, you're actually watching it finally.
Yes.
About fucking time.
Yeah. Everything was fine until the Thanos Nation attacked.
Pretty much. But that's okay. The bald one has summoned the Avatar.
Mm-hmm.
But
my pal Kurt and I, we found the new Thorbitar.
I am Groot.
Precisely.
But yeah, I love the inclusion of the Guardians, the banter they've had, and the interactions they had with all the different characters. It was so organic, so good.
That was the point.
But I love that Doctor Strange and Tony Stark just snarked at each other the entire movie.
Yeah,
which was great.
To be expected. Well, the thing you have to realize, and a lot of people pointed this out back when Doctor Strange came out,
Mm-hmm.
The thing you have to realize
Mm-hmm.
about those two
Mm-hmm.
is that they're literally the same character.
Yeah.
Aside from one having a background in medicine versus one having a background in weapons manufacturing,
Right.
and aside from one finding a calling through magic versus the other finding a calling through technology, they're the same character. They are incredibly arrogant, confident, rich billionaire playboys who suffered a major fall and had to build themselves back up from it and still have some internal problems because of that. They are the same character.
That is true. Also, as someone pointed out in a tweet that Doctor Strange over there read out, someone wanted one of them to say to the other, "No shit, Sherlock," somewhere in the movie.
Yeah.
And Tom Holland, who was sitting next to him because they were the two doing it for that segment, turned and was like, "Man, I fought for that too. Damn it!"
Huh.
Yeah, you go, Spidey. Well, I thought that was kind of an interesting tidbit that Tom Holland also wanted them to say to each other, "No shit, Sherlock."
Yep.
But that didn't happen. But, Tony Stark, we need your help. And just, who the hell are we? Hi, Tony. I'm back. Tony just with the oh shit face, like, oh God, what the hell happened? What's going on? When the Hulk steps out, Tony knows there's deep shit.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Poor Pepper. Poor Pepper.
Yeah.
I wonder if she'll come back in Avengers 4 and finally put on the rescue armor.
That is a possibility.
She needs the armor, damn it.
Well, it's going to be the question at hand because presumably War Machine is the heir to Iron Man once he gets, if he gets killed off. So.
Yeah, and Bruce is still there with the Hulkbuster, so that still exists.
Yeah, well, part of it does. It had its arm ripped off, but.
Yeah, Tony can put it back on.
Well, considering Tony's, not on that planet right now.
Yeah, well, it's not like he can't get back to Earth. But
well, yeah, I'm sure he can figure out how to pilot the Guardian's ship. That doesn't mean he's necessarily going to do that.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll find out. Well, he does have Daughter of Thanos at his side, so it's not like he's defenseless.
He does, but she's not exactly a people person.
Well, she's some of the Guardians.
Yeah, because it was in her best interest, but yeah. She's always got a look.
Yeah, I got the feeling this was a turnaround for Nebula as well, kind of making her more of a heroic figure.
Could be.
Yeah, I saw it that way.
The things that really gutted people were a lot of the relationships that were in this.
Mm-hmm.
Because they really fleshed out the relationships in this movie, built it up, kind of started to give them some resolution, and then we got the Mad Titan and everything went to shit.
Mm-hmm. Care to elaborate?
Well, first off, Tony realizes, after talking to Doctor Strange, oh, okay, there's this guy called Thanos who wants all these stones, one of which is in Vision's head. Oh, fuck, we need to find Vision. It's like, where's Vision? He turned his thing off. He did what?
Yep.
And then Bruce makes the point, well, there's one person that can find him. And Tony's like, yeah, about that. You haven't been on Earth for a while.
Yeah. Here's the funny thing about that, though. Here's the hilarious thing about that. No. Because I'm all due respect, Tony. All due respect. I remind you what is in Vision's head. Okay. You don't turn off that kind of blatant energy signature. If you can't detect an Infinity Stone on the same planet as you, your sensors fail.
Unless he's masking it.
Can he do that, though? There's been no establishment that he can do that.
Well, either he or Wanda could, because they altered reality enough to change his appearance to that of Paul Bettany.
It's called a hologram.
Yeah, or it's called Wanda's hex powers, but yeah.
Wanda doesn't have hex powers. She has probability powers.
Whatever.
Her powers are incredibly ill-defined.
Yes, they are, because mutants don't exist yet.
Well, yeah.
But
well, the
who's to
problem
say
was
he
that
couldn't
magic
mask
didn't
the
exist
suit?
until Doctor Strange showed up.
And also, it wasn't the stone that he shut off; it was the transponder inside his robotic body that he shut off.
I know, but what I'm saying is you shouldn't need a transponder when you can just follow the energy signature off a fucking Infinity Stone.
You're assuming Tony was smart enough to build one.
It's Tony. He's smart enough to build He was smart enough to build Peter a suit with spider arms in it. On the off shot, he might need them.
Yeah, well.
He built Peter's suit with a Batman mode.
That is true. That is very true.
Liz, have you seen Spider-Man Homecoming?
Saw it with you in Connecticut.
Oh, that's right. That was the last just Connecticut. I forgot about that. Okay. I forgot about that. That feels like a long time ago.
Yeah, I don't know. I still think I like what they did because it's the callback to Civil War with Tony pulling out Steve's cell phone.
Yeah.
I mean, like, all right, I'll make the call, and then Thanos arrives and he's like, "Shit, no time."
Yeah. Also, that reminds me. What is the technologically up-to-date people and the really out-of-date technology?
What do you mean?
I mean, Tony's pulling out a flip phone.
It's the phone that Steve gave him.
But still, it's a flip phone.
And Steve is 100 years old. What's your point?
My point is still, yeah, okay, Steve gave it to him. Fair enough. The number is right there on the screen. Tony could put it in a better phone.
Hey, flip phones could make a comeback. You never know.
No, okay, friggin' he's pulling out a flip phone. Friggin' Nick Fury is still using pagers.
I would put to you, up until Infinity War, Tony didn't give a shit about Steve.
This is true.
So he probably just carried the phone around like, yeah, I'm never going to use this.
Mm-hmm. And yet he carried it around.
Yeah, well, it's Tony.
Yeah.
It's more of that that you're doing it and you don't know why kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Now, as far as Nick Fury with the pager, yeah, I can't explain that one. But it was effective nonetheless.
I mean, granted, he probably hasn't spoken to her since the 90s when they set that shit up, so I kind of understand, but...
Maybe. But yeah, all the physical interactions, the fighting interactions between the various characters, they were very well planned out, very well executed.
Yes.
And I love all the banter in the fights. Hey, kid, that's the wizard. Go get him.
Yeah, that worked out so great.
Also, am I the only one who thought the cape was a fucking moron?
Okay.
Well, it saves Doctor Strange. Did it not think to slap him in the face and wake him up?
It did not.
That's the first thing I would have done. If I was the cape, I would have brought up to him and the cape across his face. Wake up, you stupid bearded piece of shit. But no, he just kept flying away as fucking like Ebony Maw was chasing him down. It's like, wake him the fuck up so he can defend himself. What kind of enchanted cape are you?
I point out to you, it's an enchanted cape.
It's an enchanted cape that stopped Tony Stark from touching the fucking the cauldron of the cosmic cauldron or whatever, cauldron of the cosmos.
Yeah.
Because it was the cape that smacked him.
Fair enough.
Yes, it's a sentient enchanted cape.
Yes, but the fact that a cape can move on its own and save people's lives, and you're criticizing it's not doing more, I feel like...
But did it really save Strange? Did it? I don't think it. I think it failed because he still got captured.
Saved his ass multiple times in his movie.
But this isn't his movie.
Still, that's the fact of the matter is it has saved his life.
It has. But But yeah, I kind of like the setup of the splitting of the Avengers. I know some people felt that the Avengers should have at least fully gotten back together by the end of the movie.
No, that's for part 2. We're not there.
I know. And I agree with that. I'm just saying that's what other people were saying. Like, oh, we wanted the big fuck off fight scene. I'm like, yeah, I'll wait for Avengers 4.
Fair.
But man, this was an incredibly depressing movie with all the like deaths and torturing, and God, Ebony Maw was creepy as hell.
Yeah, I'm gonna make a point here. Thanos' children. I felt like I was looking at Michael Bay Decepticons. I had no idea who they were or which one was which.
That's fair. Yeah, I think they could have. I think the look was fine. I think they could have identified them better because they didn't really identify them in the movie, and I think that's
like, okay, no, there's chick, other chick, big dude with a hammer, and other guy.
Yeah, they didn't name them. They should have named them. I agree with that. They had a lot to do, and that was a little overstated to me because they weren't like really huge major characters.
Yeah.
I mean, the final cut was just over 2.5 hours, so
it was.
Yeah. Avengers 4 is going to be longer,
probably,
and it's going to wreck you even more, according to the Russo brothers.
Well, we'll see.
But yeah, I loved Ebony Maw. I thought he was fantastic. I don't know who played him. I have an idea of who might have played him, but I'm not sure who played him.
Who was that?
What's his name? Was it Doug Jones or something like that? The dude from Hellboy. The dude that played Silver Surfer.
You said you didn't know who played him.
Is that who played him?
I don't know. Is that who you...
That's who I think played him.
Ebony Maw is played by Tom Vaughan Lawler.
Okay, I was completely off. I have no idea who that is, but he did a fantastic job.
Tom Vaughan Lawler is best known for his roles as Nigel Nidge Delaney in the RTE1 series. Is the flagship television RTE1. The RTE1 series Love Hate, the flagship television channel of Radio Televis Iran, and is the most popular watched TV channel in Ireland.
Fair enough.
So he's on Irish TV.
So this is kind of his big Hollywood debut. That's fair.
Sort of, yeah.
And he did a fantastic job. He was creepy as fuck.
He did good. Yep.
I think all the Joe Thanos, I think they did a good job with what they had. They just didn't have a lot. But man, this was a sad movie. Like,
yeah. Well, if we're gonna go that way, if you're gonna start it that way, let's just continue going through it then, since you were kind of going in chronological order.
Sure.
All right. So, meanwhile in Scotland.
Yeah. So meanwhile in Scotland, we cut to Wanda and Paul Bettany making out in a hotel room.
Yes. Related note, by the way, Melissa, fill them in.
I personally love this scene only because I was just in Edinburgh, Scotland.
Nice.
So I recognized a good chunk of that location. So that I'm biased to that scene, I will say. And the weird thing was, you know how in these other movies they've been on location, like, you know, all over the world. I was thinking to myself, without seeing any spoilers or any hints, wouldn't that be cool if they had a scene in Scotland? Because, you know, we had just been there, and sure enough, I'm like, did I just have a psychic moment? I had no clue. I was like, yeah. So yeah, that's my favorite scene of the movie. I'm just saying, on a personal note.
It was a great scene. I know some people felt it was unnecessary or whatever, but I felt it did its job because it shows them alone and the reason why Vision turned off the little tracking thing. But then he starts feeling the pull of Thanos through the stone in his head, and he's like, you know, I should probably go find Tony and get back because they're going to need me because this is not good. But I don't want you in danger, so please don't stay with me.
Yeah, I thought it was relevant.
Yeah. Then Proxima Midnight, and I don't know what the hell they're calling him in this movie.
I will say I'm very impressed that film crew got a lot of people away from that filming, because when late night in Scotland, there are people on the streets 24/7 chanting and having parties and whatnot. It is sort of a college town.
Right.
So I'm like, wow, I am impressed. They got everyone off the street.
They probably called in the local police.
Probably. But I was like, wow, it's too quiet. It's too quiet.
Then you have that great fight in the train station, and Vision gets wrecked.
Yep.
And then you have that great Power Rangers reveal of Captain America.
Yep.
It's a great reveal, too, with the train. Just it's the reverse train thing where normally you see the train and the person disappears. This time the train goes by and there's Cap in all his bearded glory.
Yep.
With his classic music. And, of course, that was the first huge cheer. Well, second huge cheer. Remember, the first was, we have a Hulk. And then that promptly went away after Hulk got beat like a bitch.
Yep.
But this one, there was a big cheer. Cap shows up, catches the spear or the trident. And then, like, Black Widow shows up and Falcon shows up. And they save Scarlet Witch and Vision and handily beat the piss out of the children of Thanos.
Yep. Basically.
Cap was like, Captain America, bitch.
Yes. Pretty much. So they take them back to Avengers headquarters.
Where Rhodey, with his exoskeleton, is having a conversation with not Red Hulked out yet Thunderbolt Ross.
Yep.
And then they're like, what do you mean you lost Vision? He turned his thing off, sir. What do you want us to do? Your job was to make sure that shit doesn't fall into the wrong hands. Go find him. Cue Vision walking into Avengers headquarters with the Avengers. Arrest those men. Yeah, I'll get right on that. Click.
Well, Avengers.
Yeah.
Yep.
So they have a discussion, figure out what they're going to do, and they're like, Vision's like, we only have one choice. You have to destroy me. You have to destroy the gem in my head. We can't let it fall into the wrong hands. And the only one powerful enough to do it is Wanda, because she uses powers from said stone.
Mm.
And Wanda's like, I'm not going to do that. Are you crazy? It's like, do we have a choice? And that's when Cap goes, actually, I know a guy that knows a girl.
Well, no. The scene that comes up is somebody asks Bruce, and they're like, Bruce, he's like, Bruce, when you put this thing in my head, exactly, about how it's connected. He says, well, we went through a connected that, we built all the circuitry and all the aspects of it around the stone, but theoretically they could be detached. There's a possibility that the stone could be removed and you could still be intact based on how we created you. But I don't have the tech or the skill to be able to do it. And Cap's like, I know somebody who might.
Indeed. Cut to rockin' 70s and 80s music in outer space.
Quite.
That was a brilliant scene where you just hear the music and you instantly know what's happening.
Mm-hmm.
The ship comes into view. It zooms in through the cockpit, and you just see the Guardians rocking out to Peter Quill's music.
No, you see Peter Quill rocking out to Peter Quill's music. Gamora kind of looking at him. Drax is asleep. Rocket's not paying attention, and Groot is playing a Game Boy.
Gamora was rocking out with him.
A little bit.
She was rocking out. Did you notice what Groot was playing? I thought that was kind of a clever little in-joke Easter egg.
I saw it, but I don't remember what it was.
Defenders.
Ah. Fun.
And I love...
Sir's not appearing in this movie.
Pretty much. But I love, I am Groot. Groot language.
Yeah. He's a teenager. What do you want?
Credit to Vin Diesel for being able to pull off that voice.
Yep. I'm sure they voice modulated him for it.
Probably. Like, they pitched him up and stuff.
Yeah.
And so it should be noted that at the beginning of the movie, the Asgardian ship, it starts with them sending out a distress signal.
Yes.
And this is the Guardians responding to said distress signal and pulling a Millennium Falcon, de-hyperspacing into a debris field.
Yeah.
Cue Asgardian body hitting the windshield.
Boom. Wipers, get it off.
And they bring him in. And Drax. Oh my God, Drax. One of his 2 best lines in the movie. You are a dude. He is a man. I love Batista. He's awesome. And I love the pissing contest between Thor and Star-Lord.
Mm-hmm.
Where Star-Lord tries to mimic him. That's hilarious. And then he mistakes fucking Rocket for the captain. And Rocket's like, I'm okay with this. I'm gonna go with this. I ain't correcting him.
Mm.
The interaction between Thor and the Guardians is just priceless.
It is.
And he calls Rocket Rabbit.
He does.
And I love that Thor can speak Groot because it was an elective on Asgard.
It was.
And so they decide, because Thor apparently knows exactly where Thanos is going somehow. I must have missed the part where Thor figured out or found out where Thanos was headed.
Well, it wasn't exactly that hard.
Okay.
For those of you that don't know at home, folks, Geoff has not seen all the MCU movies.
No, I have not seen all of them.
So, backstory real quick. Here's the deal. All the Infinity Stones, except for the Soul Stone, which we'll get to in a minute, were previously set up in other movies.
Mm-hmm,
Now,
right.
Thor was able to identify from fighting Thanos on his ship that Thanos was already in possession of the Power Stone, and then following getting the Tesseract from Loki, the Space Stone.
Yeah.
And Thor was fully aware that the Power Stone was in possession of the
Nova Corps.
Of the Nova Corps, led by Glenn Close.
Which no longer exist.
Yeah, no, Thanos wiped them all out and took the stone off screen. That happened.
Except for Nova, who presumably is still alive somewhere.
Yeah. And so he already had that stone. Because remember, Asgard tends to keep an eye on people.
Mm-hmm.
They do that.
Yeah.
For comparison's sake, if you remember when we played STO and the Delta Quadrant missions, Geoff, the Asgardians are like that one race that considers themselves the police force of the Delta Quadrant. They're those guys.
Fair enough.
You know what the guys I'm talking about.
Huh. Except the Asgardians are gods.
Well, yeah. But anyway, so Thor knew that stone was there, that Thanos had it now, that he now had the Tesseract. And he was also aware that the Redstone was in possession of the Collector because he put it there.
Oh, is he the one that put it there?
Yes, because the Red Infinity Stone was originally the Ether, the red power energy that Malekith the Accursed tried to get a hold of in Thor 2.
Ah, that's how he knew, because he's the one that put it there. Fair enough, that makes sense.
At the end of Thor 2, they got the red stuff, but they didn't want to put it next to the Tesseract and have 2 stones together, so they gave it to the Collector.
Fair.
Which is why what he mentions is in possession of the Collector. The Guardians are like, nobody in their right mind would trust that guy with an Infinity Stone. What is wrong with you? So he figures, well, I know that there's 2 stones on Earth, and I trust the Avengers to protect those 2 stones. And he's already got the one there's 6 stones. The 2 on Earth are safe. He's already got 2. Nobody knows where the hell the Soul Stone is. So logically, he's going after the other one.
Yeah. That makes sense. I also love the looks on the Guardians' faces when he says, yeah, Xandar was wiped out. They were like, wait, what?
Yeah.
I know some people felt that they should have showed that. They shouldn't have just off-screen Xandar.
Yeah, well.
So they decided to split up. Thor takes the rabbit and the tree, as he calls them, his friend Rabbit and his friend Tree.
Yep.
To go to, I don't remember the name of the place, but it's the only forge in the universe that can smelt Uru to make Asgardian weapons and stuff. It's where his hammer was made, the Mjolnir.
Yeah, that's Nidavellir.
Nidavellir, yeah. Where and then the rest of the Guardians go off to nowhere to try to cut Thanos off.
Precisely. Because the Collector is in nowhere, of course.
Of course. Am I wrong that the minute he mentioned nowhere, I was hoping to that they would run into a giant celestial head piloted by a talking dog?
Mm-hmm.
You don't remember that from Lego Avengers 2? Or not Lego Avengers, Lego Marvel Superheroes 2? Cosmo the talking dog piloting a celestial head?
Uh-huh.
I was like, ooh, is Cosmo going to be in this movie?
No, Cosmo's not going to be in that movie.
I know, that made me sad.
Yeah, well, shit happened. Get over it.
Because that's where he lives. That's where the celestial head exists. It's in nowhere.
Oh, actually, the celestial head is nowhere.
Oh.
The nowhere is inside the celestial head. That's kind of
so Cosmo was running around in there somewhere?
Yeah.
Fair.
Probably. Anyway.
So, do they go Thanos first or do they go Ned Valier first? I can't remember.
Based on what's written here, Ned Valier.
Yeah, so they go to Ned Valier, and then you get something you never thought you'd see. Peter Dinklage being the largest character on screen.
Yep.
Which took me a moment. I was like, wait, what?
Yes. Yes, Peter Dinklage is the last remaining dwarf. Of Ned Valier, Eitri. And
he did a fantastic job.
He did. Unfortunately, Thanos was already there and destroyed their forge and turned his hands into stone, so he can't forge any more weapons.
After he basically forced him to forge the
Infinity Gauntlet.
Yeah. Which Thor figures out because he sees the molding for it and goes, uh-oh.
Yeah.
He goes, what have you done?
Yep.
And then, so basically Thor has to manually restart the entire forge because it's all iced over.
Yep. Well, yeah, the star went out.
Yeah. And I love that Rocket's like, oh, what are we going to do? We would need incredible speed and force to do this. And Thor's just like, let me handle that. And he's like, what are you going to do? Oh, God! And Thor, single-handedly, because he is the god of thunder and lightning, manually restarts a star with Rocket's help.
Yep.
And then proceeds to get burnt alive by said star.
But he survives.
He survives because Peter Dinklage is able to actually forge the new weapon, Stormbreaker, the axe hammer hybrid.
Yep.
And Groot sacrifices an arm to be used as the handle for said Stormbreaker to merge it together and activate its magic.
Yes, comic fans will remember a version of this weapon being the trademark weapon of the Beta Ray Bill version of the character.
Indeed. I also believe it's Thor's weapon when he becomes the Unworthy. Isn't that the axe he uses?
No, because that doesn't have a hammer end.
Ah, fair enough.
That's a straight up axe.
Fair.
That is a different weapon. I don't remember the name of that weapon, but it is a different weapon.
And they did a great setup with this where Thor, before getting burned alive and stuff, when they're talking about forging this thing, asks exactly what Stormbreaker can do. And Peter Dinklage is like, well, it's very much like your hammer, Thor, except it's much, much more powerful and theoretically can channel the energy of the Bifrost.
Mm-hmm.
Which comes into play later. It's a great setup for what happens later.
Yeah, the axe Thor wields is Jarnbjorn, which he actually wielded long before he obtained Mjolnir.
Fair enough. So what? When he became unworthy, he just went home and plucked the axe out of his shed?
I guess.
Fair enough. But yeah, so you see Thor burnt to a crisp, dying on the ground, and then as soon as the axe is forged, you see lightning arc out of his hands as he instinctively reaches for the axe. Cut to nowhere. And once again, Peter Quill, this is total irony for what happens later. Peter Quill creates a plan that nobody sticks to it.
Actually, no. Everybody stuck to it except Peter Quill.
No, it was Gamora who didn't stick to it because he was like, go right. And she just went fucking straight forward. And he was like, don't go out there, don't go there. We need to hold back. And Drax was about to just run straight forward and be like, for my family. Peter Quill was the only one who stuck to the plan. Well, him and Mantis.
Okay, well, you meant that plan. That's not the plan yes. I thought you were talking about. Fair enough.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. It's total irony considering what happens later.
Yeah.
But yeah, so they try to sneak up on Thanos, who's trying to get the Red Stone from the Collector, only to find out he already has the redstone, and what they're viewing is an altered reality by said redstone. Because Gamora tries to kill him, and looks like she kills him, breaks down in tears, and Thanos was like, huh, so you do care. And it's like, oh, fuck, he's got the stone.
Yeah,
you knew he wasn't going to die that easily.
No. What were you saying, Melissa?
No, it was what he said. It can't be that easy.
Yeah, no. And so he basically kidnaps Gamora. And there's a great scene. Oh, I should probably talk a little bit more about the Guardian scene. There's a great scene between Gamora and Star-Lord as they're preparing to go to nowhere, and she basically says, I know something that Thanos can never know. If he gets a hold of me, you must kill me. You must promise me you will not let me fall into the hands of Thanos, because it will be the end of us. And she made him promise, which led to another funniest Drax scene ever of him standing there, and they just kind of turn around and look up. He's like eating popcorn. It's like, Drax, how long have you been standing there? An hour. I have mastered the art of immobile invisibility. To which Mantis just walks by and goes, oh, hi, Drax, and walks off. Apparently Mantis is Tommy Wiseau in this movie. I know Jim got that reference.
Yes, he finally knows that movie.
Yeah, exactly, Jim. Batista's so good. He has such great comedic timing.
Yeah, he was. That was like one of the bright spots in the movie.
Yeah. So the reason I brought that up is because she gets captured by Thanos, and she looks directly at Peter and is like, "Do it! You promised me." And he's like, "I can't." And eventually, it's like, "All right." And the heartbreaking moment for a lot of people, and I admit it got to me too, is when she finally looks at me and goes, "I love you," and she goes, "I love you too." Click, and right as he does that, boom, redstone, denied, cock blocked. Your gun is now bubbles. Fucking bubbles. I had to. I'm sorry.
Yep.
And he's like, haha, troll face, and leaves.
Yep.
It's like, fuck you, Thanos.
Yep.
Also, I've heard this was a nod to the comics where he stops the Guardians and basically turns Drax and Mantis into ribbons. I heard that's a callback to what he does in the comics to like Nebula, but he does it to Nebula too later. You see it later, but I heard that's why they did that. Whoosh! Oh,
yeah, he's done that.
Yeah. Oh, I'd also like to point out, since we kind of skipped over it, the Spider-Man scene.
Okay.
Holy shit, that was hilarious. Ned, you have to create a distraction. Oh my god, we're all gonna die! Cut to the front of the bus. Will you kids shut up?
You and Stanley.
Yeah, Stan Lee, FedEx bus driver. But yeah, that was the Stanley cameo. It was a great cameo too, as the bus driver. I thought that was great.
It was good.
But yes, so Thanos laughs and troll faces the Guardians as he takes Gamora and leaves.
Yep.
And I believe, does this cut back to Tony and Peter, or does this cut to Wakanda? I can't remember.
Let's see.
There was a lot of rapid cutting, which, like I said, was effective because it really showed you the seriousness of the situation and the fact that a lot of things were happening at the same time, and they were kind of scrambling.
Right. Well, let's just continue where we're on for right now. So Thanos takes Gamora to where Nebula is being tortured in ribbons and continues torturing her until Gamora agrees to reveal the location of the Soul Stone, which is the information that she possessed that she didn't want to tell Star-Lord.
Right. And Nebula kept looking at her saying, don't do it, like shaking her head, and she did it anyway.
And she reveals that the Soul Stone is on the planet Vormir.
Yeah, which really has no bearing. It's just an incidental planet in the Marvel Universe that they decided to use. It actually, from what I understand, it was supposed to have like a lot of other stuff, but this wasn't that planet apparently, because apparently when they got there, obviously when they got there, there was nothing there.
Mhm.
Except the cameo we didn't expect to see, but we'll get to that.
Yep. It's the home of the Vormirians.
And so they leave. And then Nebula breaks out in a badass scene because, for whatever reason, those stupid idiots decided to put her back together.
Yeah, well, shit happens. Right, so...
And then she's like, Mantis, hear me. Meet me on Titan.
Right. So meanwhile, Thanos and Gamora go to Vormir, where it turns out the Guardian of the Soul Stone is the Red Skull.
Indeed. So we know where he went when the Tesseract sucked him in.
Yep. Which is interesting, because I thought he was going to be Death, based on the cloak.
I think that was kind of the idea, that because they weren't going to have Death, this was going to be the closest to Death they were going to put in the movie.
Which is weird, but okay.
Yeah. And then at least you get another heart-wrenching scene. A lot of people thought it was heart-wrenching, where they get up to the precipice to get the Soul Stone, and Red Death Skull over there is like, you see, to acquire the Soul Stone, you must be willing to give up a soul. The soul of someone whom you love very, very much, or you love more than anything else. And Gamora just starts laughing. He's like, well, joke's on you, isn't it, Thanos? You're fucked now. You don't love anyone. And that's when you see a single tear roll down his cheek, and he turns and just looks at Gamora. And she has that look, and everyone in the theater was just like, oh, hell no. You gotta be fucking kidding me.
So they said something you love. Everybody knew it was going to be Gamora.
Yep. I knew it was coming. But still, seeing it the way it was presented with the tear and just turns around and just with that regret and sadness and pain in his eyes, everyone was like, oh, hell no.
Yeah, related note. Trying to humanize Thanos. Bad idea.
I thought it was kind of clever, to be honest. They tried to make him sympathetic.
Yeah, would have been clever had it worked. But with everything else he was doing, there was no way it was going to work.
Yeah, I mean, there were times it looked like he had a heart, but it's like, no, I don't really, not if you kill your own child, I'm sorry, but.
Nope. So Gamora gets chucked off a cliff.
Yeah, it's not like he wanted to. And the thing is, the reason why I think it worked, and I think it worked very well, is because the whole thing about Thanos is he believes he's the hero. He believes what he's doing is right and is merciful because he believes he knows something nobody else knows, and that is that there are finite resources within the universe, and there are too many beings in the universe to use those resources. The resources will run out before the people. And so instead of having all these like trillions or quadrillions of beings across the universe have to deal with not having resources they need, it would be more merciful to just delete half of them so they will never run out of resources. So that those still alive would never run out of resources.
Be more merciful to just make more resources.
Don't know that the Infinity Gauntlet can create resources.
It's an Infinity Gauntlet. It can literally do anything.
I suppose.
You literally have it. The word infinity is in the title. You have infinite power over space, time, reality, everything. You can. I'm sorry. If you can remove half the people in the universe, you can double the amount of food in the universe.
I guess, but that was Thanos' his whole thing, which I think worked because it's like, okay, yeah, he's cruel, he's a dick, but at the same time, because he truly believes he's the hero and he's doing what's right, the fact that they then also showed that there was something he loved shows, okay, he's not completely heartless. He's just suppressing that for what he deems is the good of the people. It's kind of like taking Spock to an extreme. The needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few or the one. And the needs of the many are, we need to make sure we have enough resources for those that survive. So I'm going to get rid of enough people so that there is enough food for those that survive. To make things better. I love that they gave him that really, really tortured backstory as for the whole reasoning why he became like that and why he ultimately thought that. And Josh Brolin, to his credit, plays Thanos incredibly well and really makes you feel for him, especially when he's talking to Gamora on that planet. And and she was like, if you really love me, why would you do this? And he was like, because I cannot let even you get in the way of what I must do. It is for the greater good. Because he believes it's for the greater good, because he believes it's the right thing to do, he is willing to make that sacrifice. If you think about it, his action is not that different to sacrificial actions of any other hero that's done that. Again, in his mind, he is a hero. He is making a heroic sacrifice for the betterment of the universe. And that is what makes that moment so heartbreaking, when you realize, oh shit, he's not heartless. He's just really dedicated to his cause. And that he truly, truly loves Gamora as a father would a daughter. He truly basically believes her to be his daughter. That's how he feels about her. And that's truly heartbreaking when he's like, even you, I cannot allow get in my way, get in the way of my goal. It's that important, and it's, in my opinion, that necessary and that good. Boom.
I don't know. Maybe we'll find out in the next movie that he's the Snape of the Avengers movie. But in the
no, it's Thanos. He's a fucking asshole.
I'm still predicting we're gonna get to the last scene where Thanos is gonna get beat, things are gonna get reverted to normal, and that Thanos is gonna still have like one Infinity Stone they managed to hold on to, and then Thanos is gonna be revealed to be Loki the whole time.
That's an interesting conclusion. A hypothesis, rather.
Now, I think Gamora is probably going to come back.
I disagree.
Okay, why?
Because Gamora was not killed by active Infinity Gauntlet. She was sacrificed to attain a stone. Given she was sacrificed to attain an Infinity Stone, and that kind of death does not seem reversible to me.
I would agree if it wasn't for the fact of which stone she was sacrificed to obtain. Because if you think about it, that end scene was in the Soul Stone. The fact that young Gamora was there would tend to indicate Gamora's soul is in the Soul Stone. Ergo, when everything gets reversed, who's to say her soul doesn't get pulled out of the Soul Stone and she comes back?
True.
That's why I think she might come back, because obviously her soul is still alive somewhere out there.
I do hope you're right.
If I had to guess, of those who died in Infinity War, Loki will probably be the only one that stays perma-dead.
I disagree. If anything, I think Loki's more likely to wind up alive than Gamora.
No, I think Geoff might have a... I don't know.
There's a reason.
Oh?
We're at the point where the Fox shit is going to start getting integrated.
Yes.
There have been a lot of incarnations of the Guardians over the years.
Okay.
Several of them, including, rather early on, after all the standard shit goes down, involve Star-Lord in other relationships.
Oh.
Specifically, there is the New Guardians point of time. And again, going into what's being merged in from the Fox universe, there's a rather well-known section of time in which the Guardians are known as the New Guardians, and one of the members and a long-term love interest for Star-Lord was Kitty Pryde. So, if X-Men are coming in here, I would not be surprised if that happened.
That is a possibility.
So I wouldn't be surprised if they intentionally killed off Gamora because they intend to go in another direction.
I would say yes if it wasn't for the fact that Infinity War was written and shot before that entire thing went through. They outright said that the Fox merger has no bearing on Infinity War and their immediate plans.
Well, of course they're going to say that.
Oh, people aren't wondering if they're going to use this as an excuse to soft reboot the universe to say mutants are a thing now.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me. If they're gonna soft reboot the universe, they're gonna do Secret Wars. Use Secret Wars to do it. I almost guarantee you.
But are they willing to do that without Venom?
Why? What does Venom have anything to do with it?
Or do you think Peter got the suit?
What suit?
The black suit, the Venom symbiote.
What about Peter in the black suit?
He got it in Secret Wars. That's how he got the suit. Yeah,
No.
That's how in the comics. That's how he got the suit. He got it in Secret Wars, brought it back to Earth. Didn't realize it was a symbiote until after he got back to Earth. It was like, oh shit. So if they're going to do Secret Wars, people are going to want him to get the black suit, which they can't do because there's a Venom movie coming out in August or October.
Two things.
Yeah.
Number one, I still don't think that's accurate.
Yeah, it is. The cartoon, he was brought back by J. Jonah Jameson's son, the astronaut. But the actual history of that suit is it was a symbiote that Peter picked up during Secret Wars.
Okay, yeah, it becomes his costume after Secret Wars. Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
I just want to add, not to cut my appearance short, but it is midnight our time, and I gotta go to work tomorrow.
Alrighty.
That is fair. You want to leave your final thoughts before you take off?
Yeah, go for it.
Sure. Like I said, definitely. I mean, I did like the movie, but yes, it was like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 punch right after the other. But I'm not turning off Marvel. I do want to see what happens. I mean, Marvel movies do continue to impress me. So, yeah. So I was like shocked, just like everyone else, but. But I thought it was good, and I'm looking forward to the next one.
What was the hardest scene for you?
Oh, the hardest scene.
Oh, the one that punched you in the gut the hardest.
I'll say Gamora. Gamora's supposed death.
Really? Over like Spider-Man?
Yeah, actually, yeah. I mean, well, see, the thing with me with that is I wonder if they're all gonna come back.
Well, they have to. They have other movies.
So yeah. So I mean, as much as seeing him fade away was sad, I'm like, no, this can't be it. That's why it didn't hit
you as hard.
It didn't hit me as much. Even though, yes, I mean, Loki could come back, Gamora could come back, but just seeing Gamora's face as he pushed her off the cliff, like
knowing that they didn't die to the snap.
Yeah, just her face just broke my heart. I was like,
That's fair.
How could you do that? But
because he is the Mad Titan.
Yes. So anyway, those are my thoughts. But yes, I mean, I did enjoy the movie, and I'm looking forward to see the aftermath from the next one.
What would you say, as a final thing, what would you say is the scene that broke Cam the most? If you noticed.
Broke Cam the most? I'm just guessing. Even though, yes, I'm sure Gamora did. But, I mean, maybe the ending. Because, like I said, I'm sure he also was one of those who was like, what just happened?
Oh, when everybody died?
Like everyone did. That is my guess. I mean, I could be wrong, but that is my guess.
That's fair.
Especially, like, Groot was one of them, too. It's like, they were like, Groot, and Groot was fading away, and I was like, but I'm like, you know what? No, I don't know. That just can't be it. So.
Groot needs to come back as adult Groot, so we get, like, full-on Vin Diesel back.
That'd be cool.
I am Groot! Everyone just looks up like, oh, shit.
Yep.
That is fair.
So.
Well, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me. I'm looking forward to the next one.
Absolutely.
And good night, Jim.
Here's to Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Bye, Jeff. Goodbye, Internet.
Night. So, yeah. The sadness continues.
Anyway, the point that I was making.
Yes.
Uh,
We were talking about Secret Wars.
right. The point I was leaning toward
Mhm.
in regards to it, I wasn't referring to that Secret Wars.
Okay.
I was referring to the Secret Wars from a couple of years ago.
Oh, I was unaware there was a second one. Fair enough.
There is a second one. Basically, the one that created Battle World.
Would that work considering they just did that in Thor Ragnarok?
But they didn't. That's not what I mean by Battle World.
Oh.
Long story, very, very short. I'll give you a run through of that Secret Wars later.
Hello, Peter Parker.
Hmm?
Peter Parker has joined us in the chat.
Oh. Okay. Random. Anyway. The point I was making in regards to the more basically what the modern Secret Wars involved was basically reality being torn apart and one large battle world being formed out of pieces of every alternate universe from the Marvel continuity. There was a House of M section, there was a 616 section, there was an Ultimate section.
Okay.
So what I theorize is they may go into a Secret War and have, a battle world that is comprised of, the main Marvel Cinematic Universe, any side things that have been created that are going on, the X-Men universe, anything else that needs to tie in, and kind of bring it all together that way, and then have the universe reboot through that event when it gets united back into one universe of having all these aspects in one universe.
That would be super ambitious.
Because that would allow it to merge. That would allow it's kind of the same thing DC's probably going to do with Flashpoint to fix all their issues.
Huh, fix.
Well,
Yeah, that would be super ambitious. That'd be interesting. I doubt that's the direction they're going, but you never know.
Yeah.
But yeah, what part of the story were we in?
I got it. But yeah, Star-Lord may go. The Guardians may go in another direction for different member setup. Was all I was saying.
Fair.
Hell, they could have Star-Lord go on to his Emperor of Spartax time frame.
Okay. Oh yeah, we just got to Soul Stone, right? So.
Yeah, so Gamora gets chucked off a cliff. Thanos gets a Soul Stone. Meanwhile, Nebula escapes the calls of Guardians. And meanwhile, Stark, Iron Man, and Peter manage to eject Voldemort from their ship.
From his ship.
From his ship.
I also love the Iron Spider in this movie. I thought it was cool.
It was.
It's like, just let go, I'll catch you. What did he say? Activate like Protocol 17 or something like that, and just shot up out of the tower.
Something like that.
And it just catches him in mid outer space.
Yeah. Which was cool.
And I thought they did the legs well. I'm glad it wasn't a permanent thing, and I'm glad it wasn't red and gold.
Yeah. So they eject Voldemort from his own ship, and he freezes in space.
And they save Doctor Strange.
And save Doctor Strange, and then they land at Titan where they run into the Guardians.
They argue first. Doctor Strange is like, we need to go back to Earth and protect the stone. Tony's like, we need to go to Thanos because he's not going to expect that, and we need to beat his ass.
Yeah.
And they went with Tony's plan and crashed a ship on Titan.
Yes.
And then promptly got blasters to the face from the Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, you missed a very important plot point, though.
Okay.
There was a very important plot point that happened on the ship right before they did, after the discussion, right before they did all that.
Congratulations, you're an Avenger?
Yes, exactly. You're an Avenger.
Yeah, after Tony realized, well, Peter's not going anywhere, so might as well make him an Avenger.
Yep.
And they crash on the ship. The Guardians attack him. Peter Quill tries to do his best Batman. Where's Thanos? Or where's Gamora?
Yeah.
It's like, I'll do you one better. Who's Gamora? I'll do you one better.
What better?
Why is
Why's
Gamora?
Gamora?
It's another great, like, God damn, Drax had all the great one-liners.
That's kind of his job.
It is. And then they realize, oh, wait, you're not working for Thanos? I also love, what master do you serve? What am I supposed to say, Jesus Christ? It's like, wow, dude, really? We're the Avengers, dude. The Avengers? The people that Thor was talking to? Wait, you know Thor?
Yeah.
That's how they come to an understanding. They devise a plan because they know
Yeah.
Thanos is coming back. Meanwhile, Doctor Strange is wigging out because he's decided to invoke the Eye of Agamotto to help their cause. Doc, you okay? I'm fine. What was that? That was me looking into the future. And I saw 14 million futures. Only one did we win.
No. How many did we win?
One.
Just one. Footloose. Is it still the greatest movie ever? It never was.
I love the banter between them. They did the Guardians so well. And they were so needed in this movie for the levity. At least I felt they were. Just, they weren't going to have Ant-Man.
Nope.
They needed someone who could make us laugh.
Which is a weird thing, because meanwhile, back on Earth, because Spidey's stuck in space with Ant-Man, so apparently for some reason it falls to serious Bruce Banner to be the comic relief character.
Which semi-works with baby 5-year-old Hulk.
Yeah.
So.
But anyway, so they all have a meeting.
And they come up with a plan off screen.
What's that?
And then they come up with a plan off screen. Cut back to Earth.
Well, Tony tries to come up with a plan, and Star-Lord is like, well, I got an idea. That's a really good plan, except it sucks. So how about let me come up with the plan, and then it might be really good.
Yeah, it's the trailer scene.
Yeah, it's a great scene.
And so they come up with the plan off screen, cut to Earth with the rest of the Avengers arriving in Wakanda. Wakanda forever. Yep. And you get that trailer scene of, what are we supposed to bow? Well, he is a king. We do not do that here. Also, I love the Winter Soldier scene, where it's like, it is time for the White Wolf to, what does he say, to like reemerge or something like that?
Yeah.
Like he's been dormant long enough, and he just opens a case, and it's just an arm, and Bucky looks at it, and his only reaction is, so where's the fight? It is coming. It's like, yeah, good old Bucky.
Yeah. Yep. So, Charles, what do we have for resources? I have this many of my men here. I have the tribe coming down from the mountains. I have this set up over here. Bucky goes around, and a 100-year-old man with a metal arm.
Yep, and then you get that great Cap Bucky moment of, seeing each other again. You're like, "Aw, too bad it's not gonna last."
Yep.
And so they wheel Vision into Shuri's lab, and Shuri scans him. It's like, so why didn't you try this? Because we never thought of it. Well, nice try. Shuri's just the undisputed mistress of tech.
Can you do it? I can do it, but it will take time. How much time do you need? As much as you can give me.
And then they go out to prepare for battle. And this is where I realized Marvel lied to us.
Yeah.
But perhaps not 100% lied. As you pointed out, I think you might be right. Because for those who have seen the trailers, you might remember a scene in the trailer of the Avengers running out of the Wakandan forest with the Hulk right in the middle. That never happened. Not in this movie, anyway. But you might be right. That might be in Avengers 4. They might have snuck in some Avengers 4 scenes in there to throw us off.
They were filmed back to back.
They were indeed. But it was still a glorious fight. Huge fight with Thanos' army and his remaining children assaulting the shield of Wakanda.
Before we get to that, meanwhile, up on Titan, Thanos shows up,
yes.
chasing down Nebula, only to be jumped by the Guardians and Iron Man, Doctor Strange, and Spidey. And they proceed to beat up Thanos, and they actually get control of the situation by basically tying him up with a combination of webbing and ropes and magic, and trying to rip the gauntlet off of his hand. And this plan is working surprisingly effectively until Star-Lord deduces that Gamora has been killed and loses his shit.
Yep. Before we get to that, I love that Doctor Strange is slowly becoming the Sorcerer Supreme, because I love that he's like, Thanos, you must know now, you're dealing with the master of the mystic arts. I'm like, oh shit, he's going full on Doctor Strange now. And he does like the fucking clone shit. He pulls out the ruby bands of Cyttorak. You're like, geez, dude.
Yep.
How much did you learn between Thor Ragnarok and Infinity War? Good God.
You'd be surprised what you can learn when you possess an Infinity Stone of Infinite Time.
That is true. But yes, he's
also.
I
I don't think they were the ruby bands of Cyttorak. They didn't have the rights to that yet.
They didn't have the rights to the gem. That the ruby bands of Cyttorak was one of his signature spells.
Which is
fine.
Those
red things. But the red thing he was using.
Yeah, but Cyttorak itself probably given that it's more well known for Juggernaut, I think it probably falls under their auspices.
Well, number one, they do own it now. Number two, they never outright called it anything. He just used it.
Which is fair.
And people are like, that has to be the ruby bands of Cyttorak. It's red. It's the ruby bands of Cyttorak.
Yep.
But he's not quite Sorcerer Supreme yet. Otherwise, he would have just completely pwned Thanos.
Yep.
But it was still a great fight. And yes, that revealed. And I thought that was brilliant, using Mantis as the kind of Jean Grey of the team. Put him to sleep. He is mourning. He is in pain. And that's when Peter Quill put two together. Was like, oh, hell no, you did not.
Yeah.
That was a heartbreaking moment for a lot of people, too. With that realization. And then he just lost it. Knocking Mantis off of Thanos. And they were that close to getting the gauntlet off. That close, people. And everything went to shit. He beat them all down, stabs Tony, drops a moon on Tony.
Yeah.
Spider-Man has to save everyone because it's what he does.
Kind of. And as Tony is about to die, Strange finally gives up and surrenders the Time Stone, which he had removed from his Eye of Agamotto necklace to keep it safe in exchange for Tony's life.
Yeah, and I love Thanos' line of, you were a fool not to use the greatest weapon in your arsenal. But then as it's hinted at, it's because he already did. He used it to see 4 million outcomes in the future and figure out which one was the winner.
Well, yeah.
That's how he knew what to do.
Right.
So technically, he already did.
Ah.
And Thanos doesn't know it.
Fair enough.
Because, well, we'll get to it when all the deaths happen, because there's a line he says that I didn't catch the first time, which when people pointed out the line, I was like, oh.
Anyway.
But yeah, so Tony heals himself with the Bleeding Edge armor, because apparently Bleeding Edge armor can heal grievous wounds.
Well, it just sprayed some wound sealing crap over him. It's going to take him time to heal.
Yeah.
It basically just sprayed a liquid bandage over the wound.
I do have to admit, the Bleeding Edge armor was fucking cool, because he had like the big fuck off cannon and shit at one point.
Yep.
I like that. I think it was cool armor.
It was cool.
And so they realized they'd done fucked up, well, except for Doctor Strange, and cut back to Earth and look on to battle.
Yep. Bruce Banner, unable to bring the Hulk out, gets the Hulkbuster armor instead. And begins fighting with that.
Which he promptly proceeds to pull a Titus O'Neil.
Yeah.
I'm okay.
He got up. He was okay. So they start fighting. The demonic creatures start breaking through the Wakandan barrier, but not fast enough before they start running around and trying to cut in the back, which will expose Vision. So T'Challa orders the barrier open so they can keep the fight in front of them.
Yeah.
And they all proceed to fight, but they also are getting really, really overwhelmed and getting their asses kicked.
Yeah, and then you get a variant of that awesome scene from the trailer. Wakanda forever! Shink!
Yep.
And then they charge. and start kicking ass and taking names. But between the
Somebody gets that man a shield.
Yeah, that was in the movie too. But then between that massive army and the fact there was 2 children of Thanos in that fight, they pretty easily got overwhelmed, actually. Until the Bifrost Bridge just lanced itself into the middle of the battlefield.
Yeah, that was Midnight, Obsidian, and Glaive, by the way.
Yeah, approximately. Was all 3 of them there? I thought there was only 2.
No, 3 of them were there.
Fair enough. But yes, and then in what could be the most badass superhero moment of all time ever in any movie, the Bifrost Bridge just lanced itself into the middle of the battlefield, and then Stormbreaker flew out of it, and things started to die really, really fast.
Yeah, we kind of skipped over it before, but it should be mentioned that back on the Forge, after Thor got the Forge working and sacrificed his own life, the hammer Stormbreaker was forged, and Groot used his own arm to make a handle for it because Peter Dinklage couldn't find the handle so that it could restore Thor's life.
I did mention that because I mentioned that lightning started to arc out of his hand as he pulled it toward him.
Fair enough.
But yeah, so we get Stormbreaker. Yeah, go ahead.
And I firmly disagree with that, primarily because we just spent the entirety of Thor Ragnarok establishing the point of Thor's powers being the god of thunder. His power is not dependent on holding a weapon. Oh, he's dying. He's dependent on the power of a weapon.
Well, it's because that weapon augments his powers.
So did
some other powers.
So did Mjolnir, but the fact of the matter is, it's still saying, oh, Thor's, needs a weapon. It can't be dependent on his own powers, and I feel like it kind of undid the message from the last movie.
Well, except Thor is strong, but he does not possess the power to kill a god, and he does not possess the power to keep himself from dying when he's fucking dying.
I don't know. He has the full power of the thunder. He might not have been able to kill his sister, but I'm pretty sure he could kill a god.
Yeah. Either way, it still led to the most badass moment ever of just the Stormbreaker coming out, just killing everyone back into the Bifrost. You just see this arm come out, lightning everywhere. The bridge goes away, and there's Thor in new full Asgardian battle gear with flowing red cape, looking like fucking Thor again. Oh, and mind you, Thor has a second eye now because Rocket gave him a robotic eye.
He did.
And then Rocket's next to him, and Groot's on. He's flanked by Rocket and Groot. Rocket's like, and Thor just lightning everywhere is like, bring me Thanos.
Yep.
And then proceeds to do a hammer down.
Yep.
Casing the entire fucking Wakandan field in blue lightning, killing everything. Just boom.
Not the whole field, just a very large portion of it.
Yeah, he basically single-handedly wiped out Thanos' army.
Yeah, kind of.
It was amazing. And I will admit, that is the one moment that probably choked me up the most. Just because it was the last gasp of hope for the Avengers. Because that was a point in the movie where you're like, that had the most hope. Because you're like, it's Thor in fucking God mode. Just... You're like, if there was any point that was going to turn the tide, it would be this. Of course it wasn't, though. Yep. And then you have the awesome... you have the awesome cat fight!
Yeah.
Sorry, I had to. It was a great scene, though. And now you're alone, and you will die. She is not alone. And then Proxima Midnight proceeds to get beat the fuck up.
Also, I like you just skip over the best part of that last scene, too.
What's that?
Of the Thor scene.
I thought the best part was him just appearing and doing the fucking slam.
No.
Oh, are you talking about the thing with Cap?
No.
Oh.
That's cool, though, but no.
What were you talking about with the Thor scene?
The axe goes around, kills a whole bunch of people. The Bifrost opens, Thor lands down there with the others. The axe goes around, killing people. Thor catches the axe. Oh, you guys are so screwed now!
Oh, yes. Yes, that line. Fucking Bruce Banner. I love that Bruce Banner was basically the fans and the audience for the entire movie. Oh, screw you, you big baby! I'll do this myself!
Yeah.
Yeah, I love Mark Ruffalo. He's awesome.
I thought he said, "Screw you, you big green asshole."
Oh.
At some point he said that, I think. But anyway.
He says it later. He says it when he has to fight, I think it's Corvus Glaive.
Yeah.
It's whoever goes off to like get Vision. It's when he intercepts that guy and literally beats him with his hand.
Yeah.
But we'll get to that.
So anyway, Thanos arrives.
No, before that, they have the big fights, and Thor actually meets up with Captain America and goes like, "So, I see you stole my beard."
Yep.
And they have the big fight. And yes, Thanos does in fact arrive.
That's him. And in a moment of emotion, Vision, who has been injured up to this point, convinces Wanda to destroy the stone.
Well, before that, Corvus Glaive, because Wanda has decided to enter the battlefield when she realizes they need her out there, Corvus Glaive decides, okay, now's the time to assault Shuri's lab.
Mm-hmm.
And Shuri's not knowing the Vision, and Vision is like, well, you can't defend yourself. I'm going to have to defend you. And fucking Roman Reigns him out the window.
Yep.
And they have a fight, and that's when Banner jumps in and is like, come on, Hulk, we need you right now. No! Oh, screw you, you big green asshole. I'll do it myself.
Something like that.
And he proceeds to fight Corvus Glaive, who cuts off the Hulkbuster's arm. Hulk's like, all right, fuck you, grabs the arm, puts it on the Corvus Glaive, and hits the fucking rocket on it. And he's like, no!
Yep.
And it's at that point that I wanted DC and Marvel to cross just so I could scream out, booyah!
Yep. Anyway, Thanos
and then Thanos appears.
Yes, and then Wanda and Vision have an emotional moment where Wanda, agrees reluctantly to do what Star-Lord fucking should have done.
He tried to do it, but Thanos stopped him.
Yeah, but the thing is, had he not wasted like 5 minutes more doing it, he might have done it before Thanos could react.
That's true. But before that, there's this big ass fight where all the Avengers start coming in to fight Thanos. You get that scene from the trailer of Cap like grabbing the gauntlet and stuff like that. They're trying to pull the gauntlet off.
And Thanos just beats the shit out of everybody.
Yeah, you have Banner and the Hulkbuster armor trying to attack Thanos, and Thanos just backhands him with the gauntlet. Just, no, you're out of here.
Yep.
You have like Falcon trying to dive bomb him. Nope, you're done. Rhodey comes in. Nope, you're done.
Yep.
He just literally destroys every single one of the Avengers like one by one. And Vision's like, we're out of time, Wanda. You have to do it. Only you can do it. I wish it wasn't you.
Yeah. And it's also worth noting they did well establishing this movie, and I'm sure it'll come into play later because it's always been a weakness of Thanos in this form. He can only use one gem at a time.
Mm-hmm. Unless he snaps his fingers.
No, I think snapping his fingers was just using the Reality Stone.
Oh.
I think he just used a Reality Stone. I said, I don't know. I mean, when he had all 5, maybe he could. I don't know, but it seemed like he could only use one at a time, so I don't know.
But I'm pretty sure he could only do the snapping of the fingers if he had all the stones assembled.
I don't know, but anyway. So Wanda summons her magical strength and destroys the Mind Stone.
She holds off Thanos with one arm and destroys the Infinity Stone with the other, which that should tell you just how powerful Wanda Maximoff is, considering she's only at a fraction of her true power and can hold off the goddamn Mad Titan with one hand.
Well, he then picks her up with one hand and chokes her out and throws her on the ground. And then proceeds to summon the Time Stone and turn time back to restore Vision in the stone and then rip it out of his head.
Pretty much.
He then adds the final gem to his gauntlet, receives ultimate power, and then gets impaled by an axe.
Yep. And as people pointed out, poor Wanda, she had to sit there and watch the love of her life die twice in rapid succession.
Yep.
I told you I would kill you. You should have gone for the head.
Or, cut off his gauntlet arm.
Yeah, or that.
So anyway, Thor snaps his fingers, and
Thanos.
We see, Thanos snaps his fingers and disappears in a flash of light. And then we, as everybody's looking around the battlefield like what happened, we see people disintegrating.
Well, actually, he snaps his fingers, you see the white light, and then he reappears without the gauntlet with young Gamora standing in front of him. They're inside the Soul Stone, as people figured out. And she goes, so you did it. I did. And what did it cost you? Everything. And that's why, because they tried to make him so sympathetic, they gave him pain. They gave him kind of remorse a little bit. They gave him like true love. Like he actually loved Gamora, and he was like grieving for her and stuff. And then with the whole "it cost me everything" at the end and just the way it was delivered, that's why I'm like, oh, are they gonna cop out and have him revert everything because he truly realizes what he's done, or they convince him about what he's done? I'm like, nah, don't do that. And I'm afraid they're gonna go that route based on how heavily they laid it on that that he did it, but he wasn't wholly happy with it when he did it.
Right.
And then Gamora just kind of nods, flash of white light, back to the battlefield. Thor's looking down and impaled Thanos. What have you done? And then you see the gauntlet, and it's completely fucking charred. Like the power of using all 6 stones just broke the gauntlet.
Yeah, it's all shattered, charred and shit.
And Thanos just grins and tesseracts out of there.
Yep. And then we start seeing, and then we cut to all the different areas, and we see people disintegrating, including but not limited to Bucky Barnes, Black Panther, Groot, Scarlet Witch, Falcon, Mantis, Drax, Peter Quill, Doctor Strange, and Spider-Man.
And they were all kind of heart-wrenching. Like, Wanda's, I think, was heart-wrenching just because it's like, of all of them, she was the one ready to accept it, because it's like, you know, I've seen Vision die twice. What more do I have, kind of thing. Like the Cap Bucky one was heart-wrenching. The Okoye Black Panther was really gut-wrenching, because it's like, you know, this is no place to die. Whoosh, there goes Black Panther. And Okoye is like, the fuck? And then you have all the Guardians and stuff. And when Doctor Strange goes, he looks at Tony and he says, what does he say? He says something like, it has to be this way, or something like that.
Something like that. Like,
he knew this was going to happen, and this was the only way they were going to win. Like, he said, because he actually points out to Tony now when he gives the time stone over to Thanos to save Tony's life, he says, Stark, we're now in the end game.
Mm-hmm.
So Doctor Strange knew something. And I think that's something, as people pointed out, was the win condition. And I think by keeping Tony Stark alive, he enabled the win condition for this fight.
Maybe.
That'd be the only reason he would keep Tony Stark alive, after vehemently saying, I would sacrifice both you and Spider-Boy over there to protect this stone. And then turn around and being like, please spare Tony's life. Yeah. Why would he do that if Tony wasn't necessary to enable the win condition?
Yeah.
So Tony's going to have a huge role in Avengers 4 because he is going to be the win condition.
Mm-hmm.
I think. He's probably going to sacrifice himself. That's my guess. But he does that. And then, in my opinion, the most gut-wrenching death of the entire movie, it's the one that broke most people, was Peter Parker.
Mm-hmm.
And I have to applaud Tom Holland for his performance, because holy shit, that performance, dude, was just... It was mind-blowing, gut-wrenching, heartbreaking. That was the punch in the gut to me. Was, I don't want to die, Mr. Stark. I don't want to go. Yep. And you're just like... And that's when you realize he is just a kid. He doesn't know what he's gotten into. He just wants to be a hero. He wants to help people. And then this happens.
Yeah.
And so they all go away. Tony's left alone, well, with Nebula on Titan, presumably with a Guardian ship parked over there somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
And then you cut back to Earth in the Wakandan fields as the remaining Avengers kind of reconvene. And I think Thor's like, what just happened? And Cap just goes around and just goes, oh my God.
Yep, and meanwhile, cut back to another planet, might or might not have been Titan. And we just see Thanos kind of step out into the sunlight and kind of look around and smile.
No, it was Thanos' homeworld.
It was Titan, okay.
Was it Titan? Is that where he was from?
Yes, Titan was his homeworld.
Okay, it must be on Titan on like the other side of the moon, where
maybe
Tony and Nebula aren't.
Maybe.
Yeah. But his smile is a sad smile, because he knows everything he sacrificed and lost to get to this.
Yeah.
And it's almost like he's questioning, was it worth it?
Yeah, kind of.
And that's the point, that everyone just sat there in utter shock and did not move, did not cheer, did not do anything.
Credits.
And then we have the one and only post-credit scene at the end of the very long credits. I'm sick of these motherfucking snakes on this motherfucking plane. Yes, we finally, after all this time, get Nick Fury.
Uncredited.
What's that?
Uncredited.
Fair enough. But he was there.
But yes, Maria Hill and Nick Fury are driving in an SUV down the streets of New York City, and they got a call that there is, an energy signature over Wakanda. And Fury asks Hill whether it is on the same level as was over New York years ago, and she says that it is 10 times larger.
It was probably the Bifrost and Thor coming back.
Wouldn't surprise me.
Or it was the snap.
Yeah, probably that, considering what else happened. And anyway, all of a sudden, another SUV freaking fishtails in front of them, and they crash into it. And so they jump out to see what the hell's going on, and there's nobody in the thing. And then they look around and see people start disintegrating all over New York, followed by Nick Fury pulls a device out of his pocket as Maria Hill disintegrates too. Fury walks around another car and past the dude and hits a button on the pager right as he starts to disintegrate too. His face disintegrating right as he begins to utter the word motherfucker.
Yeah, they see a helicopter crash because the pilot disintegrates out of it, so it crashes and stuff. And Fury looks up and he's like, Hill, call control. And he's like, Nick? I'm like, oh no. And he runs and he tries to get through people to get out of the way, pulls out the pager, begins to dial something. And that's when he just starts disintegrating. He's like, motherfucker. And the pager drops and the camera just zooms in on the pager and you just see the word sending. And then ... And then you see a logo pop up.
Yeah.
Followed by red and blue. So for all of those of you out there, so for all those of you out there who bitched about fucking Captain Marvel wearing green and silver, rest assured in Avengers 4 she will be wearing the iconic red and blue.
Yep.
I thought that was a great post-credit scene.
It was good. It worked. I admit, that was not the post-credit scene I thought we were going to get.
What do you think we were going to get?
Well, because we're dealing with Thanos. And Thanos has done this shit before.
Okay.
In the comics. In the comics, Thanos actually went further.
Okay.
In the comics, Thanos wiped out everything.
Oh.
Literally. Yes, you have to realize Thanos' motivations in the comics are very different from his motivations in this movie.
Yes, he's courting death, literally.
Yes. And he runs into the irony that initially he was not worthy of death, but upon assembling the Infinity Gauntlet and holding its power, she feels she is no longer worthy of him.
Mm.
And by the time the whole thing is over, there's nothing left in the universe. It's just Thanos.
Oh.
Him and his gauntlet are the only thing left in the, and maybe his chair, are the only thing left in the entire universe. He wipes out everything. Like the universe is gone. Except for one thing.
What was that?
See, Thanos is sitting there with his gauntlet in his chair, having wiped out the entire universe, and sort of realizing that maybe that wasn't the best idea.
Mm-hmm.
And it turns out there is one other being who survived.
Okay.
Because a pocket dimension opens up. And out steps one of the few beings that's on the power level of Thanos with the Infinity Gauntlet.
Okay.
Adam Warlock.
Hmm. Okay, then.
And Adam Warlock has a discussion with Thanos, and by the time they sort everything out, the universe is back.
You don't think they're going to do that in Avengers 4, do you?
I don't know. I don't think that. I think this is a very different Thanos. I don't think he would go that far.
Well, no, I mean about the whole bring Adam Warlock in, have him talk to Thanos, and have Thanos bring everyone back.
It's possible.
That'd be kind of anticlimactic.
I don't know.
But I do look forward to seeing what they do with Avengers 4 because now it's like, ooh, what are they going to do? And especially with who they decided to kill off and who they decided not to. You're like, wait, what?
Yeah.
Like, that was a complete mind fuck. What are you looking up?
And mind you, that's assuming we don't take this whole thing from, into the actual Infinity War storyline.
Oh?
Because then Megas will show up, and then you've got worse problems.
I doubt they would do that.
I don't know. We haven't seen what Adam Warlock's going to do yet. Megas could show up. We have to wait and see what they're going to do with their Adam Warlock first.
True. If they do anything with him.
Why wouldn't they?
Because they haven't really fleshed him out. He just kind of showed up in Guardians, didn't he? Or did he actually do something?
Who, what?
Adam Warlock. Then was he introduced in Guardians too?
Not entirely.
So he hasn't actually even been introduced yet then.
He was the post-credit scene after Guardians 2.
Okay.
In the post-credit scene, there was that gold lady from that movie. One of the villains that was chasing around with her army.
Okay.
And she has this like sarcophagus thing, and they got the most credit scene, and she says like she's pissed that they stole some shit from her, the Guardians.
Mm-hmm.
And she says, I will form an ultimate weapon to strike them down. And you see this sarcophagus, and she's talking to somebody else looking at him, and she's like, I shall call him Adam. And that was the post-credit scene. So we know that he exists in the universe, but beyond that, we don't know when he's going to come free and when he will become involved in the storyline. And part of me kind of wonders if it might not be involved here.
Potentially.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be interesting, like I said at the beginning of all this, to see how Ant-Man and the Wasp is going to tie into this. Because the end of the movie has to be. And Hank Pym is probably going to disappear.
Oh, shit. They could go that way, too.
What's that?
I did not think about that.
What are you looking at? Hello?
Hi.
What are you looking at? Hello?
Hang on. I'm trying to see this here. Yeah. So that's something else that could happen. I didn't think about that.
What's that?
Because at the end of the Infinity Gauntlet storyline, the one that precurses the Infinity War, we got to the point that Thanos, is really powerful, and Eternity appeals to the Living Tribunal to interfere and stop Thanos, and when they decline, Eternity leaves the Gathering with Warlock, Adam Warlock. And when they come to try to get him, he uses the Infinity Gauntlet to freeze time. As he's about to destroy them, Mephisto convinces him to limit his own power and let them attack as a way to prove his bravery and skill to death. Although he stops sensory input from the gems and some of the heroes' attacks surprise him, he easily kills them. And he's going to strike the last survivor, Captain America. Warlock sends the Silver Surfer racing in to remove the gauntlet. Thanos evades him, but the near loss leads him to restore sensory input from the gems. The cosmic entities attack Thanos as a group, but during the battle, Mephisto and Death also attack him. Thanos is infuriated by their betrayal and traps everybody in stasis and changes the shrine they're at to feature himself instead of Mistress Death. He then, believing himself to have defeated all his enemies, Thanos puts himself into an astral form.
Okay.
He removes his consciousness from his body and goes into an astral form. Yeah.
Okay.
Nebula uses this opportunity to steal the Infinity Gauntlet, which was left behind on Thanos' physical form.
Oops.
She restores herself. She was injured and restores herself to a healthy state, banishes Thanos into Taraxia through a rift. More shit goes down. Warlock explains that through the bond of the Soul Gem, he was able to look into Thanos' soul from Soul World, and explains he knew Thanos would lose the gauntlet because at his core, Thanos felt he was unworthy of the power. Overwhelmed by the revelation, Thanos agrees to help everybody stop Nebula once and for all. And they trick her. Thanos uses reverse psychology and tricks her into restoring the universe and freeing the cosmic entities. Everybody attacks her. Warlock returns to Soul World and uses his connection to create disharmony between the gems, causing Nebula pain and making her take the gauntlet off. Warlock leaves Soul World and takes the gauntlet. And Thanos, preferring to die rather than be imprisoned, detonates a thermonuclear weapon on his belt.
So you think they might turn around and have Nebula take the gauntlet and be the villain for Avengers 4?
It would not surprise me if they went that way. Nebula is taken into custody. The other heroes aren't happy that Warlock is keeping the gauntlet, but he returns them all to Earth. And Warlock goes 60 days into the future to find out that Thanos has taken up farming on a small planet and has given up his quest for power.
I think they may pull elements from various stories here because they have to tie Tony into it, because there's no reason for Strange to keep him alive if he's not like the key to the win. Right?
Yeah. By the time it's all over, Strange visits Warlock to see how he's adjusting to the powers. Warlock reveals a plan to remove selfish ambition and competitiveness from the universe, which of course runs counter to Strange's values, so he casts a spell causing the Soul Stone to show Warlock how that would reduce sentient beings into simple animals. Eternity then summons the Living Tribunal to determine if Warlock is worthy of the Infinity Gauntlet. When he is judged mentally unfit for power over the universe, he agrees to give 5 of the gems to individuals he determines best suited to protect them.
He creates the Power Rangers?
Kind of. Shortly thereafter, the Living Tribunal also decrees that the gems can no longer be used together.
Wait, isn't there 6 gems?
Well, yeah, they said Warlock could keep 1.
Oh, okay. Probably the Soul Gem, huh?
Yeah, the 5 others will be given to individuals worthy of wielding that power, which is why when Infinity War comes along afterward, because Warlock's evil self Magus comes to power, they have to reunite. They have to convince the Living Tribunal to allow them to reunite the gems to oppose him.
Fair. There's a lot of possibility there.
There is a lot of possibility there.
But yes, this movie was great on many levels. From the outstanding musical score, hats off to Alan Silvestri.
Yes.
To the effects, to the acting was superb. To the writing, I think there was a lot of brilliant moves here in terms of story and plot arc. In some ways, did it feel rushed? Sure. Was the cutting a little wonky? Sure, but I as I said before, I think it was intentional.
Yeah.
I think it worked for what they were trying to get over, right? What they were trying to portray.
Yeah.
Which was the severity of the situation, the fact that they're scrambling, the fact that they don't know what they're doing.
Yeah.
It was meant to disorient, in my opinion, the viewer to show the disorientation of the heroes.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Do I think some things could have been extended? Sure. Like people said that they should have shown Xandar. It should have started with, or maybe in a cutscene showing Thanos destroying Xandar to show him actually getting a gem, because people were upset that he just kind of showed up with 1 gem. But at the same time, it kind of made sense given, again, the fact that they started where Thor Ragnarok ended. So it was just a continuation. It kind of made sense. The cameos were good. I wasn't a fan of the show, but I know you were. Did you catch the Arrested Development Easter egg? You're not even paying attention now.
I am paying attention. Go ahead.
Jimmying the podcast.
I am not. Go ahead.
I'll answer the question.
I didn't hear a question. What?
Yeah, because you were jimmying the podcast. Anyway,
I was not. Go ahead.
Did you catch the Arrested Development Easter egg?
No, I never seen Arrested Development.
Oh, I thought you seen it. I've never seen it either, so I didn't catch it either.
No.
Apparently, in Arrested Development, there's a character that paints himself blue because he's going to try out for the Blue Man Group.
Okay.
And apparently, when they go to nowhere to go try to get the stone from the Collector and try to cut off Thanos, apparently in one of the Collector's like tubes, there's the dude painted in blue.
Hmm.
Which was like, okay, that's kind of odd, but okay.
Okay.
Yeah, it was weird.
That is weird.
Also, I love the fact that they gave War Machine carpet bombing technology.
Yeah, that was cool.
Sam, get out of the way. So, great movie. Go see it. Go see it in theaters at least once. You owe it to yourself.
Yes.
I'm definitely going to be picking this up when it comes out. How about you?
Yeah, I probably will. Yes.
Fair enough. So, final thoughts.
Man, over here. Yeah. Really enjoyable movie. I definitely recommend people go out and see it. If you've seen the MCU films, you'll enjoy it more than if you haven't. But it's still a good movie, even if you haven't, as long as you have a general idea who some of these characters are. And is it the best Marvel movie they've made yet? No, but it was really good, and the scales were definitely shown to be as high as they needed to be for the relevance of the film. So that was good. The effects are great. The acting is great. The ending was a surprise. It worked for what it needed to do, although given that it was the Infinity Gauntlet, I think everybody knows all these characters are coming back, and I think that left a little anticlimax there. But it did what it needed to do.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So props on that.
I can understand that.
Yeah. But always great movie, and I think people should go see it.
Absolutely.
Your final thoughts.
Bring your hankies and your tissues. And don't bring your kids if they're invested into the Marvel Cinematic Universe, because they will be fucking wrecks. I can tell you that right now. Except for the boys, they might think it's fucking awesome because explosions and stuff.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It depends. But on the whole, I would be careful with the kiddies because this is really, really dark, heavy stuff.
Yeah.
But that's what makes it great. It's, as I've said outside of this review, it's almost as if Marvel took a look at the DC universe and the fans who were like, Marvel is known for being whimsical and for being fun. DC is known for being dark. And they just said, challenge accepted.
Something like that.
Also, as I put it, DC called and they want to know why Zack Snyder is curled up in a ball in his basement weeping.
Mm-hmm.
That's how dark this got. It's like, damn, dude. Marvel got balls, man.
Yeah, well, it was what it needed to be.
Yep, and if what the Russo brothers and Feige and stuff have, what they've said about Avengers 4, as far as any indication, they've said it's going to be worse. They said the reason they haven't divulged the title yet, aside from the fact that divulging it early would have kind of ruined Infinity War, is they said, yeah, this title will fucking wreck you. It's like, damn. And they said, yeah, this is going to be a longer movie. And they said, you thought this wrecked you? You thought this was dark? Wait till you see Avengers 4. That kind of has me scared because I'm like, oh God, where are you guys going to go with this?
Yeah.
Because, and this movie is a testament to this. Just because it happened in the comics doesn't mean it's going to happen in the movie. I mean, for all we know, for Avengers 4, they could go in a completely new, different direction that the comics never went.
They could.
And I think they might be kind of doing that, given the fact that they've hinted that Tony is the key.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I look forward to seeing what's going to happen. I think Captain Marvel it's going to end in the 90s, but then the post-credit scene is going to be like flash forward, like, what is it, like 28 years later?
Yeah, something like
2018. That. And then the page is going to go through, and she's going to step out in the red and blue uniform, and it's going to debut the red and blue outfit.
Okay.
That's how I think it's going to end.
I can see it. Yeah, there's been speculation, although the most common, the best guess we've heard, most people think it's going to be Avengers Infinity Gauntlet.
See, based on what has been what they've said about it, like being darker is going to wreck you. The current going theory among people is it's going to be Avengers Disassembled.
Yeah.
It could be Infinity Gauntlet, but the fact that they were like, yeah, the title's going to wreck you. Infinity Gauntlet's not going to wreck you, but Avengers Disassembled, that has some emotional connotation behind it.
Yeah, maybe.
So there's a couple other theories going too, but I think that's the strongest one, is Disassembled, based on the latest knowledge we have.
Okay.
But I can't wait. 1 year, man. Next year is going to happen. I'm so going to be there.
Yeah.
As a final thing before we go off the air, I'm going to do an unboxing. My first ever unboxing. Haha! See, it is a white envelope from the post office. I don't know if you want to put it on me for the unboxing, but...
Okay.
I'm going to have to figure out how to open this. I guess I don't need scissors. It's this side. Haha! Check it out.
Okay, then.
I got that with my tickets.
Cool.
It arrived yesterday.
My hand, hold that up again. Who the hell's that on the bottom left?
This one?
Yeah.
That's Bruce Banner.
Oh, okay.
He's hulking out.
I see. Okay, I couldn't tell who that was.
We have Iron Spider. We have, I think it's Tony, right? Yeah, it's Tony and Doctor Strange.
Yep.
Yeah, they had various different posters with various characters. This is the one I was like, yeah, this has all the characters I like on it, so I'm getting this one.
Where'd you get that?
Like I said, I got it with my tickets.
They gave you a choice?
Gave me a choice.
No. Because Cam was supposed to get one of those, and as far as we know, he did not. And I don't think there was a choice involved.
Yeah, because I got it at, I think it went Fandango.com.
Oh.
And they were like, you get an exclusive movie poster. You'll put this this number thing into our store. Okay, put in the store. There's 5 different posters. Which one do you want? Oh, okay. So I looked at the different posters. I'm like, that's the coolest looking one. I'm taking that one.
Yeah, so he came out at thing when he bought the tickets where it said free poster, but there was never any details about it.
Well, it's free, except I had to pay for the shipping.
Right. Well, I didn't see any details about that, so maybe I'll just check his stuff. I don't know.
Where did he buy the tickets?
I think it was just directly through AMC.
Okay, because what it should have done is it should have, unless he wasn't getting a choice, it should have directed him to whatever their fan store is, because they were like, this is an exclusive poster issue with the ticket. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
So I thought this was cool looking, just because it's like, come on, the New York Trinity, man.
Fair enough.
And you have to admit, Iron Spider looks awesome.
Yeah.
Master of the Mystic Arts.
Yep.
I have to wonder, though, after Avengers 4, is Spider-Man going to keep the Iron Spider suit?
I don't know. That'll be interesting to see.
Because I don't think that would make sense in in a Spider-Man movie. Because if he's wearing the Iron Spider suit going up against, like, I don't know, like fucking like Electro or something, wouldn't that not make him overpowered against his own enemies?
True.
Because he'd basically be Iron Man with Spider-Man powers. That would kind of not be fair. Especially since he has mechanical legs. But yes, I felt, since I hadn't opened it yet, I was like, I'll just open it on the air. What the hell?
There you go.
So, that'll do it for us for Avengers Infinity War. We both love the movie. We both recommend people go see it. Bring tissues. Be prepared to cry if you are invested.
Indeed.
Be prepared to laugh. Be prepared to cheer.
Yep.
Be prepared to be mind-fucked by Marvel.
Yep.
And we'll see you again whenever we review something else. The next review will probably be the Spring of Star Kid.
Yes.
We have some things we could do for that, and we will be. That'll probably be coming up in the next couple of weeks here. It'll probably be this month, my guess.
Yeah, it'll be in May. We'll do it in May. Sometime in May. Stay tuned. And, of course, stay tuned. This Thursday, we will be doing our Fantasy League scoring of the greatest Royal Rumble.
Yeah, the not-so-greatest Royal Rumble.
And then our usual shenanigans on Saturday.
Absolutely. Until then, whew, it's going to be tough, people.
It'll be what it is.
Kanda forever.